Good day guys, nice to have you here. In today's video I played Hilda once again in the jungle. And as always, we'll have the usual dose of tips, tricks, and strategies that are all guaranteed to help you win more games. Cho knew what the assignment was. He had a slight advantage against Ruby in the early game since Ruby does not have very powerful damage output, so he decided to cut the lane. What he did is very important, especially in a game with Hanzo as one of the enemies. Since the enemy team had Hanzo, we had to be extra careful in jungling. One way of making it harder for him to invade is obviously by hiding in the jungle crypt in one of the bushes.
A warrior's strength is from everything she loves.
Since Ruby took advantage of Cho's absence, she was able to gain a significant advantage in gold and experience over Cho. In the grand scheme of things though, that wasn't a bad trade-off since Hanzo failed to gain traction easily. Also, Ruby cut the lane with zero advantage to their team. Remember guys that the main reason for you cutting the XP lane is for you to join teamfights quickly instead of spending so much time on the lane. It's pointless cutting the lane if you won't do it to join teamfights. In fact, you're just putting yourself at risk of getting ganked since the enemies will realize that you are camping near their turrets, just like what happened here. Too bad we did not get the first blood. Since Hanzo took it, he was able to gain bonus gold, which pretty much cancelled our efforts earlier. In my opinion, it would have been better if Cho just joined me in defeating Ruby since he had zero ways of securing the orange buff from Hanzo anyway. One huge issue we had in that game was the Franco player. He was investing too much time on Mia, which gave the enemies advantage over the turtle. Instead of staying on the gold lane, Franco should have gone to the turtle a few seconds before it appeared in order to help us secure it. Since he was absent, this is what happened.
A true warrior
enemy has been slain.
she wants to protect.
Initiate retreat.
Instead of pressuring the area around the turtle, I should have played more carefully since Franco was very far from us. I was a bit overconfident, which resulted in my demise. While you're dead, instead of wasting time, analyze your mistakes and also think about the skills that your enemies used or will use while you're dead. If you have time, check their items as well and also observe the battlefield. Doing so will help you make better decisions, such as in that encounter. We know Tyrael and Kagura use their ultimates. Knowing that will help us in the next clash. I know that Tyrael's ultimate takes about 40 to 45 seconds to cool down, while Kagura's ultimate takes about 40 seconds as well. Since Hilda was dead for only 10 seconds, there should be roughly 20 seconds left by the time we reach them from our base after Hilda gets resurrected. Knowing that gave me the courage to attempt a turtle steal. After all, the only hero with an available ultimate was Ruby, while Hanabi was at the bottom lane. Not sure if Hanzo did not have retribution during that time or if his first skill was not available, but I was not supposed to be able to steal that turtle. Hanzo's skill set technically gives him an advantage in securing major objectives. It was one of those moments when I did the right thing at the right time. And like I always tell you, once the objective has been secured, there's no need to engage in teamfights. Disengage and continue in farming. The only time it's advisable to go for the fight is when your team has advantage in numbers. At that moment though, we were outnumbered. Since I saw Tyrael on the mid lane while Ruby was on the top lane and also knew that two of the enemies were dead, I decided to go to the gold lane in order to pressure and hopefully take Hanabi down. I was actually trying to give the kill to Mia by forcing Hanabi to use her shield, thus removing her immunity to control effects. Sadly, Franco failed to hook Hanabi.
A warrior's strength comes from
Initiate retreat. Slain an enemy.
I think this Hanzo player only picked Hanzo because he saw it in the MPL. I'm not a Hanzo main, but even I know that he could have instead blinked out his Demonuma using his ultimate's additional effect. What was he hoping to achieve by attacking Hilda anyway? We're lucky that the Hanzo player had zero idea what he needed to do. Otherwise, it would have been a nightmare for Mia.
My faith to the grave.
Despite being a jungler, keep in mind that the team has one common goal, and that is to destroy and defend structures. So if you have the chance, go ahead, push, and if possible, destroy a turret. Remember guys, after taking 2 or more of the enemies down, especially if their jungler is also dead, taking the Lord down should be your next goal. Hanzo got resurrected a few seconds before I was able to take down the Lord, but my teammates did an excellent job distracting them from what I was doing. Zoning and vision control is in most cases more important than helping out in taking down the Lord and Turtle, especially if your jungler is capable of taking down the major objective on their own. Be careful though and don't overcommit. The goal is for you to drive away the enemies from your jungler who is taking the Lord. Don't force unnecessary kills.
Icefield warriors,
Because of my overconfidence, I mistakenly purchased Counter-Strike over Malefic Roar. Initially, I was planning to have 3 damage items in the game: Blade of Despair, Malefic Roar, and Hunter Strike. However, as the game progressed, I realized how much the enemies were still able to farm and get the items they needed, thus dealing significant damage to us. So instead of going with Malefic Roar, I went ahead and invested on defensive items. At first, I thought of selling Hunter Strike in order to purchase Malefic Roar, but I decided not to and just waited for the game to unfold and purchased Malefic Roar much later in the game. As you can see, the enemy team's damage output was pretty nuts. It was definitely a good idea not to continue with Malefic Roar. Also, instead of heading straight ahead to the enemies, I decided to go around them in order to prevent their skills from hitting me. Since I did that, Kagura's attention was also divided, which gave our team the upper hand in that clash. Sadly, Hanabi was able to join the clash from the opposite side far away from where I was, and Mia was killed. Overall, our team still had a better trade-off, so nobody complained. Always check the minimap as frequently as possible. Check respawn times, check which lanes are falling behind, check enemy positions. Basically, gather as much information as you can by taking a quick peek on the minimap. Since I was consistently paying attention to it, we were able to make the better decisions most of the time and take the Lord whenever it responds.
only I had the power.
Destroy the turret! Ally has been slain.
And that, my friends, is why I decided to invest in more defensive items.
Enemy has been slain. Shut down. Shut down. Enemy rampage.
I don't usually get Garden Helm for Hilda, but in that game, I think it was a necessity since we needed to regenerate HP fast in order to transition to lane pressure after every clash. We really couldn't afford slacking off since the enemy team's damage was pretty strong. If that game was further extended beyond 16 minutes, we might have lost that game.
Ally has slain Lord.
Clear up lanes.
Ally has been slain. Ally has been legendary. Enemy has been slain. Double kill. Launch attack.
Mother, you know you won't let me.
That concludes our Mobile Legends content for today. What other recommendations do you have for our viewers based on that gameplay? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe everyone. Peace.